Hello again. I'm just going to show you how to make a really quick card. Really elegant, I think, and we're going to do this part ourselves with stamping. That's not patterned paper, it's stamping. So we need to begin with a card blank, which I've cut from craft cardstock. It's from I've cut the 12 by 12 inch craft card down to A4 and just made a normal A5 card blank, which is going to be our background. We then need to use some Whisper White cardstock, and on the Whisper White we're going to start stamping our image. So we're going to use the Stamp-a-majig. If you haven't used the Stamp-a-majig before, it's a great tool, and it's a stamp positioner so that you can make sure that you can do the two-step stamping. So you must always butt into the corner of your little T here, but make sure that the sheet moves freely. And always make sure that the wooden part of the stamp is right into the corner, and then press it down and press it up. And I've made a deliberate mistake there. I always try and use the writing of the Stampin' Up, I don't know if you can see that on the stamp, at the bottom. And then if I do that on a stamp like this that might be positioned slightly skew whiff on the back of the wooden block, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to just get an image on my little positioning sheet, and I'm going to do across the bottom, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 rows. It's going to take a little while, so I'll start off. I'm going to try and stay as close to the corners as I can. You can use the grid sheet if you want to. I'm not going to be able to use the grid sheet today because I've got the camera tripod in the way and I can't stand square on, but I'll do the first one for you. So I'm going to put my T-square, whatever it's called, in place, and I'm going to make sure that this moves freely, which it does. I'm going to make sure that the Stampin' Up writing is at the bottom of my stamp, ink it up, and I'm going to press it down and get my first image. I love this stamp. It's from the Circle Circus stamp set. I'm just going to carry all the way across my sheet. These are dye inks that I'm using, the black ink, and so it dries really fast. I don't have to worry about transfer from my from the Stamp-a-majig acetate sheet. It just dries really quickly so that I can move across this in a snap. And I've intentionally made my white sheet of card that I'm stamping on bigger than I actually need because I'm going to trim it down. The great thing about that is you can pick your best stamping and cut accordingly, so if you make a mistake like I did on that first one, it's really not the end of the world. Just make it smaller and smaller. I'm going to, what I want is 3 whole designs there. So I'm going to cut halfway along here, and I've already got that one cut halfway, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to make that symmetrical and cut the same side there. I need to mount the white cardstock onto the blue cardstock. So what I want to do is corner round these corners, these 2 corners here, and also the corners at the bottom of my card. What I did was I got the metal buckle and I got a tempting turquoise marker pen, and I just coloured in the buckle, which is really easy to do because it's got an indent, so your pen nib just easily falls into the indent, and I just coloured that in. What I'm going to do is just pick up a bit of the Crystal Effects on the end of my pen, and it just falls really neatly into this buckle. And what that's doing is that's sealing that pen inside the buckle and keeping the colour true. Otherwise you'll find that it'll just fade or rub off, or you'll get it on your fingers, or it'll come off on the ribbon that we're going to use. So I'm just dabbing that in there, which gives a nice glossy effect. There's the one I've just done with the Crystal Effects. It's going to take a little while for the Crystal Effects to dry, so in the meantime I had already prepared one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie some of the black gingham ribbon from Stampin' Up. I'm going to tie that just around the white cardstock. I'm just going to tie a knot to start off with. It just means I don't have to keep fiddling, because it's a bit, I've got to now thread the buckle onto here, and I just don't want it to come undone. So I'm going to thread the buckle on one end, like that, and then I'm going to trim off the other end and thread that through the other side of the buckle. So I've got the buckle like that, and then I'm just going to tie a bow. Now I'm going to tie my bow facing me, not the upside down way, otherwise I'll end up with an upside down bow and then mount on there. So I'm going to do that now. I'm now going to stamp the sentiment. I think the sentiment, the congrats, is the one that I want the occasion for at the moment, and I really love how this stamps once you've inked it up with all the bold black ink. Once I stamp it up and give it a good firm press, I get a really nice bold graphic stamped image, and I want to punch out using the scallop square, a blue square, and then if I'm going to trim round here really closely in straight lines, and that's going to fit on top of my scallop. So I'll do that right now without trying to jog the camera. So I'm going as close as I dare to the stamped image, which is lucky because I've smudged it, but actually when I've trimmed off it's actually not showing and it's fine. Fraction lower. There we go. And then I'm going to stick that on the blue scallop square, and then I'm going to raise it up with some dimensionals. So let me just see if I can turn that so you can see. Just fits on. See that? Now I'm going to use the dimensionals and raise that up on the back. Oh, it's a bit squashed. And then I'm going to put that centrally. I'm going to stick that tentatively just while I make sure that it's in the centre and it's straight. Really hard to do this while I've got a camera tripod in my eye view. And then I'm going to stick that on, and that's it, all done. Really simple, really nice, really elegant card. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.